Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Walking Dead episode 12 video, the first look inside the Alexandria safe zone. We also got to meet a couple of people that were right out of the comics, so I'll try to explain them in the most non-spoilery way possible. So just careful for spoilers as I start to explain who these people are. So here we go. Deanna first. She is a gender-bent version of Douglas Monroe from the comics. And aside from the gender swapping, she's pretty much the same as she is in the comics. She's an Ohio representative, she's a politician, so definitely don't trust her. In the comics, Douglas did have a son named Spencer, but on the show, Deanna's son's name is Aiden, so Aiden might be a little bit like Spencer in the comics, at least in tone, like the characters are both douchebags, but it seems like Aiden's character is going to be much more aggressive. Then we have Jessie here, also right out of the comics. She has a son named Ron. On the show, she has two sons. I don't want to talk about her husband in the comics because it's a little spoilery, and they kind of teed it up with Rick walking by their porch. But if your ears pricked up whenever she and Rick were sharing moments, then you're on the right track. In general, it seems like the show's going to be pretty faithful to the safe zone of the comics with a few, minor changes, not quite as many characters. If you have read the comics and you want to talk about that stuff, just please use spoiler tags. So here we go, top 5 moments. Number 5, welcome to the safe zone. This episode is one of my favorites so far this season, and for very different reasons than I usually get excited about episodes. Usually Walking Dead is all about the gore, all about big zombie kills, really awesome effect sequences, but this episode was all about the group stepping into this alternate dimension where they couldn't fathom what was going on because it looked so weird. It's like they all walk in and they're looking around going, what the hell is going on here? When I first graduated from college, I moved into a neighborhood kind of like that, and I had the exact same reaction. I was like, what is going on? These people look like aliens. That being said, I do think that most of the members of the group have their shit together. Carol totally isn't drinking the Kool-Aid. Rick knows what's up. I mean, he puts that uniform on, but that doesn't mean that he's going to stop being careful. I think the only one from start to finish that just refuses to accept their new reality is Daryl. Moving on to number 4, say goodbye to Rick's beard. May you rest in peace. This was so funny. I mean, Andrew Lincoln had been walking around in real life without a beard for a long time, so I think we all felt like, yeah, eventually they're going to trim it. It got so ridiculously long, too. It's like the minute Aaron showed up, clean shaven, you're like, okay, yeah, clearly he is from a place where they own razors, so the beard is not long for this world. How many years, though, did it take off of Rick's life when he cut that beard off? I mean, he's not an old man, but with that beard, he definitely looked like one. It's like he de-aged by 10 years the minute he shaved. And how convenient that Alexandra Breckenridge's Jesse character showed up right as he was finishing, no shirt on. Clearly there's going to be some shenanigans going on there eventually. Whenever they cast Alexandra Breckenridge, they made a pretty big deal about it. She's one of the few characters, I mean, there's a bunch of new characters at the safe zone, but she's one of the few that they made a big deal about publicizing. So obviously they're going to focus a lot more on her in terms of all these new people. That just means that she's going to have a lot more scenes with the group than the other new members of the safe zone. I think we're going to be at the safe zone for the rest of the season, so we will have time to meet all those other characters, but I feel like they're going to focus more on Jesse. Moving on to number 3, Carl meets all the children. I like the way they have parallels between the group members in the way they experience the safe zone. So Carl is like the kid version of Daryl, completely cannot figure out how to assimilate. There is the Enid character, clearly he's going to form a bond with her. I'm kind of interested to see what's going on there. She could wind up being like a Clementine character from the video game. I don't think she is Clementine, or it could go nowhere, but I'm more inclined to think that based on the amount of time they spent setting her character up, teasing that something was going to happen between her and Carl, that they will pursue that. Definitely something going on with Rishon, with this new Jesse character and Rick, and now Carl has this new Enid character. Just a lot of new friendships that are going to be born. Think about it this way too. A lot of times, if The Walking Dead ends up really liking an actor, if their performance ends up being way better than they originally thought it would be, sometimes they'll turn them into cast regulars in future seasons. Robert Kirkman has said a number of times, though, that this season will be much more faithful to the comics. So just regardless, look forward to lots of comic book things. Moving on to number 2, the survivors clash with life at the safe zone. So everyone acts out just a little bit in their own way. Carl and Rick have that weird moment where they get super cranked up to kill walkers together. I guess that's like their version of catch, their version of playing catch in the backyard. And then you have Glenn, Tara, and Noah clashing with Aiden's group. Clearly Aiden off his rocker. They're all just having a hard time assimilating. I mean, Daryl's just like the best visible example of that. It's like taking a wild dog and putting it in a house. Like it'll just keep freaking out till it adjusts, or till you let it back outside. And finally, my number 1 moment. Rick says that if it doesn't work out, don't worry, we'll just take the place. The way he said that too, such a great delivery, so casual, like, don't worry, we'll take it, no big deal. He and Carol are so funny, like, it's like they're wearing these weird clothes now. Like, Carol's dressed like a housewife, he's dressed like he used to as a sheriff, but underneath they're not taking any bullshit. I would say of all the camera performances, Carol's was my favorite though. Everyone else seemed so earnest. Like Rick was honest. He's like, close your gates. Don't trust anyone. Carol though was like, oh, I'm just a den mother. I love working with other people. Do you have any jobs in the community? Do you have a junior league? Any organizations that I can help? Just the way her face looked while she was saying that seemed so earnest and so funny. I wanted to laugh so hard. I was like, clearly she is just playing this politician. And that's another thing too. What is going on with Deanna? If she's a politician, that means that she lies for a living. And if she's good enough to win re-election, that means she's really good at manipulating people. I think just right now, since she's just met these people, what she's doing is she senses that they're really tough. So she's keeping them close. Like she's trying to make friends with them right away. Like if you were to meet someone who you sense was more powerful than you, you'd have a much easier time if you befriended them rather than turn them into an immediate enemy. Doesn't that just feel like a politician thing to do? Like if you saw an opponent that you thought might be able to beat you in a future election, you would try to turn them into an ally rather than keep them from becoming an enemy or potential threat in the future. But let me know though, of all the things that they teased in the episode, like potential future conflicts with certain people, especially with Jesse's weirdo husband smoking creepily on the porch, what are you most excited about? One of the fun things I'm really looking forward to is just seeing Glenn beat the shit out of Aiden again. There's no way he's going to let that go. Aiden is totally going to challenge him again at some point. I already mentioned most of the comic book Easter eggs I saw, like all the, the people that they pulled straight off the page. But if you saw any that I didn't mention, just list them in the comments below. I think, one of the things that we need to look out for is who took Rick's gun, what's going to happen with the other members of the community that we haven't met yet, and what is Aiden going to do to get revenge on Glenn? Based on what they put in the teaser for the next episode, I think we're going to learn a lot more about Deanna next week. So I think we'll find a little bit more about what's going on inside her head, like what her grand plan is for the survivors. And remember, the producers and Robert Kirkman have said that we're going to meet a villain this season that's just as bad as the governor and the people at Terminus. Don't you just wonder if it's someone that we met in this episode? Because I don't think it's going to be Negan. I think he's still a little ways off. So just a quick reminder, new round of the giveaway starts now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment below, but I'll be posting next week's video after the episode airs. Generally, I'm actually really excited with the direction the show is going right now. I mean, it's weird because the tone of the show is changing so much, but I think that's a good thing. So while you guys wait for my next Walking Dead video or for the Q&A tomorrow, you can click here for last week's episode, and you can click here for my latest Game of Thrones Season 5 video. Learn all about Dark Sansa. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.